We're testing and ready to go. So, hello everybody, hello, and welcome to the 52nd episode of Play and Talk. I am Noah, this is Shadowhawk, and with us we have Chief Emboscado. Is that how?
Chiefemboscado. That's
Chiefemboscado,
my name.
okay.
So
I was never sure how to pronounce that until just now.
yeah, and I'll probably forget about it because I'm a legit dumbass. But anyway, so yeah, Game Awards and the Disney Investor stuff. A lot of news that came out of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. When
It's overwhelming.
Yeah, when I first saw the Mass Effect teaser, I screamed at the top of my lungs.
For me, I was always just someone who wasn't sure exactly as to what. I was just thinking that a new Mass Effect game would just simply focus on the Andromeda aspect. And when I saw the trailer, I was disappointed that it wasn't that. Though, in looking at Michael Gamble's comments on Twitter, he's giving essentially the implication that the two are going to be seen at some point, which makes me a bit concerned as to how it's going to happen. But honestly, at the same time, it's kind of like you know what, I end up trusting them for this. So, like, who knows? Maybe they'll end up doing something we don't expect, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, it also got the more of a teaser with the Dragon Age game, the next one, and it got Solus with this bold egghead.
So I'm just really because now it looks clear that at this one that Liara is also visibly older in this. When I saw people visually move into her face, because I only saw the teaser once. And so, yeah, like, when I saw some people insist if it was time travel, it'd be like, yeah, it can't be that, because it's very clear that that she's gonna be someone who's much older.
I want to get ready.
One, so...
Shadowhawk, press Y.
Oh, sorry. I always forget to do that. I'm used to multiplayer games where if the group wants to just go, we just go.
Yeah, it happens. Just I will let you know.
Yeah.
So good they use the Titanfall 2 sounds. I really don't play this much. But I was playing Titanfall 2 the other day. Ah, shit.
I played some multiplayer with my brother, and yeah, that was just incredibly fun to be able to play.
What game?
Just Titanfall 2 with my friend.
Ooh, yeah. Yeah, Titanfall 2 is a really good game. Has a banner of a campaign, including the time travel part, which is really neat.
Yeah. It's a shame that it didn't sell as well as it could.
Yeah, bad timing. It's definitely bad timing.
Yeah.
I'm not too sure if it's bad timing in so much as just it was a mixture of not marketed enough and also just that probably some other factors that I can't quite be able to name right now.
Shit.
Yeah,
oh, this is new.
That's the new map, Olympus.
Yeah.
Heard that.
Oh, this is my first time playing with someone.
Yeah.
With actual teammates, not just randos.
Yeah.
So
yeah, let's start with the video game awards because it's something really obvious. The Last of Us Part 2 won all of.
It's overrated. It's so overrated.
I know. It won a lot of awards. Game of the Year.
I haven't played it, so I'll have to judge for myself on it. But honestly, it never surprises me with that because I don't think I've heard either Movie of the Year or Game of the Year or whatever where there isn't an immediate onslaught of people saying that.
Yeah.
So for me, I just kind of say it's just kind of common because everyone has their own best games for that year, and unfortunately it gets snubbed. And also on the other hand, I just don't really tie my love of a game to awards seriously because very often what I think is the best usually doesn't line up. So I just kind of go,
I will have to give it to
it less.
So I have to give it to The Last of Us Part 2 with it winning the Accessibility Award.
The only thing I do find very objectionable,
that's
specifically, I would say, is them getting the Best Direction award. That I felt was some bullshit.
Yeah, even Kotaku has a good point about that. Kotaku had a very good point. Like, Oh shit!
Shit!
Like, we could argue about whether the narrative was good or not, or bad, or whatever. Like, we could have those discussions, sure. But Naughty Dog ended up doing a lot of bad shit in their development for just making this game and putting their developers through utter hell for it. And yeah, they don't deserve anything involving a Best Studio award. At least Supergiant or even Respawn at least are much more deserving, because in Respawn's case, which is what I'm more familiar with, like, they do actually make it to where their developers aren't crunching. That's why they even said that the reason why Apex updates are much slower when compared to their other relatives is they don't crunch.
Yeah, and although they slip up from time to time because old habits die hard. Let's get that out of the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But honestly, it's been
speaking of Dragon Age, has anyone heard about the beatdown from various Bioware workers on Greg Ellis?
I only became aware of that through Discord, and you also messaged me about that, because I never heard who Greg Ellis was.
Yeah.
And then I saw the tweets on it, and man, he got nasty. Although Mark Dara wasn't exactly like, he wasn't pussyfooting around with it. He also was throwing hands on the whole thing.
Yes, so was Angela Garla, and the others were like cheering on. It's like that's a hell of a way to start your retirement. Damn. That's for sure. It's like a smackdown.
Like, I don't know what exactly made him decide to just do that for whatever
because
reason.
Because he's probably pretty bitter about Bioware for some reason, and I have to say he's a bit of a major jackass. Like, from what I've heard, like he supports J.K. Rowling and among other things.
So honestly, I feel he won't really be missed, considering that even within Dragon Age, his character isn't exactly among the like more liked end of it, nor is he more liked as an actor.
Yeah.
So for me, I just basically just go, yeah, honestly. So that was really good fun to watch. The drama wasn't as spicy as I'd liked, but honestly, it was still fun.
Yeah, at least it's a good kind of drama.
Yeah, definitely. If something could be called that.
Yes. Let's go back to the video game awards. There's some plenty of interesting stuff like Brie Larson, Tom Holland, and Tom Holland and Nolan North were on stage at one point. Like, since Tom Holland will be playing Nathan Drake in the Uncharted movie. Yeah. Interesting choice to pass the torch from Nolan North to Tom Holland.
Every day is a new victory.
Oh, and speaking of movies, yeah, Christopher Nolan was there to announce the Game of the Year award.
I don't know why he came on, and from what I was told, he looks like he just didn't want to be there. So it was the question of, why did you come?
Shit.
Because he
has that kind of feeling whenever there's big celebrities at the VGAs who clearly don't really play games or care for them. Oh, you're the Jump Master Chief.
Here we go.
Yeah.
It's a long drive.
So it's always that feeling that's like, so why are you here when you clearly look uncomfortable and don't want to be here?
Though I'm really happy to see Brie Larson there. I never got the chance to see her part in it. I only caught up to the stream like midway through for the most part.
I may watch the entire stream down the line, like when I'm on vacation, but yeah, I just kind of just operated on that kind of like why exactly did you end up coming here for that? I don't know. It seems as if the VGAs, it has this sort of imposter syndrome like feeling where they feel like they have to be essentially the Oscars but for video games. Although
I remember. Oh yeah,
speaking
of the Oscars, guess who's back? The guy who says "fuck the Oscars." The guy who made
Oh, yeah.
I missed that part.
Yeah, and they reference that little incident.
Shit. In there.
Yeah, so
Three hostiles. I only have this. This was that me. Well, here we go. Yeah, that's as close as I expected. So anyway, so anyway, stuff happens, and in a previous D&D session, Richard Stark and I did a Mage Hand Thumb War.
I just
The hell
feel,
did I-
yeah, with the Game Awards, I feel they could just go a long way by just mainly trying to do their own thing and not feeling like they essentially have to live up to the Oscars. Because games I often see seem as if they because, obviously in many respects they aren't as well respected as movies are, and it feels like they're just very, for lack of a better word, saying it, desperate to get to that kind of love, basically.
There we go. Yeah.
Like, it's probably better if they just do their own thing and just focus on being that. And again, I say it especially in reference to the Oscars.
And the large amount of advertisements. The fucking
That
advertisements.
too. I swear, I feel as if the Game Awards is something that's almost like a sort of pre-E3 in spots, like with all the game announcements we got there. Like, the Oscars has it just celebrating the movies that came out, whereas the Game Awards wants to be essentially, hey, so we not only announced the games that won, but we're also going to drive engagement by just by also announcing a whole bunch of other stuff coming down the line, which, I can't say I'm complaining, honestly, because, hey, if it's a game I'm looking forward to, I'll take whatever teases I can get.
Yeah. And more about the Video Game Awards. Guess who's coming to Super Smash Brothers? Sephiroth.
Sephiroth.
Oh, yeah,
Nobody-
them, no.
Nobody expected that.
I wasn't
Nobody
expecting either. I was
So-
like, wait, what? And I just had, like...
It looks as if Nintendo is starting to make more unconventional choices in who they bring. At the very least, it was something that wasn't as toxically, or as toxic to see as when Steve came into the picture. So I'm just kind of like, you know what? Sure, let's do it.
Yeah. Yeah, although he only speaks Japanese for consistency, because Cloud also speaks in Japanese and not English for some reason. Not
Oh,
complaining.
I thought it was just sort of like they would dub it and then
Nope.
get down the line.
Yeah.
I guess maybe it's just a method to keep costs down, I guess.
No.
Yeah.
And among other surprises, we got a Perfect Dark game coming out. Haven't heard that game in like years.
What game?
Perfect Dark.
Perfect Dark. That's okay.
I was also told that there was also a game that came out that actually was like a spiritual successor to the Dead Space games. I don't know which one it was.
Yeah.
The
Oh yeah.
Callisto,
It's I don't know
the
what it's called
Callisto
right
Protocol.
now. Yeah,
Callisto Protocol.
the Callisto Protocol set on one of the moons of Jupiter, I believe.
Yeah.
Oh wow, how familiar.
Yeah.
Yeah, very. Yeah, made by the same developers who did Dead Space, and indeed it does scream Dead Space.
I mean,
Yeah.
one of the
Like-
guys.
Yeah, I'm not complaining.
Fire! One down.
I got my treasure piece at least. Yeah, we're gonna be kicking asses from time like constantly. So bear with us.
Honestly,
Yeah.
I
So,
wouldn't-
and apparently the Swedish chef is going to be an Overcooked,
Yeah.
which is surprisingly fitting.
Yeah. It makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah,
Yeah.
that totally makes sense. Oh, and speaking of the guy who says "fuck the Oscars," he announced another game called It Takes Two, another co-op based game where a couple is struggling to express their love for one another, so they turn to these plant puppet things and go on a journey. That guy is like has his own, is quirky, but is a lot better than David Cage from what if I'm getting it right. Heyo.
Yeah. Basically.
Yeah, Master Chief
No, David
and
Cage is
yeah,
a fucking
there's also
idiot.
Master Chief in Fortnite. I am not surprised about him coming over there. What surprised me was the trailer that announced him. So this fish guy was like trying to get a drink from the freezer, but he finds a Master Chief thawing out in the
The main thing that surprised me seeing that was that the red versus blue members were end up being there. That was the thing I least suspected or expected,
Well, yeah, it was weird.
because like
Shut up,
because they
Why?
haven't really.
That's right.
Huh? Because yeah, they haven't really, because now with Red versus Blue, they're now focusing on their new series, which is called RVB Zero. So which they did like do a very tiny promotion in the spin part of Chief's arm of the Chief figurine, and so I'm just like, oh, okay, so like that's a new thing that they're just going with. So hopefully, wish them the best.
Yeah. Also,
Yeah,
Vin Diesel in
And then I
the,
saw
in the
some
art
people
game is
bitching
like,
about how the characters acted, and I just thought to myself, dude, it's meant to be a funny little commercial, not meant to be like a sort of here's how they would be if it from the show. It's meant to be humorous. Relax, calm the fuck down.
no, I'm not too worried about Ninja
Pay
being there.
attention,
Just,
you might learn a thing
I
or
don't know
two.
why.
he played Halo before professionally, so
Makes sense.
it makes sense in some way.
Oh look, Caustic, or I like to say Movie Bob, because Caustic reminds me a lot of Movie Bob.
Oh, come on, it does not get off, man. He doesn't need to be bashed all the time.
Yeah. So so anyway,
It's fun enough.
yeah, it's
But-
so Arc 2 has Vin Diesel in it as a you know the as a major character by the looks of it, and the effects looks
Let's land here.
he looks fine. It's that the blood effects look
animation-
ugly.
The animation looked very stiff, to say the least.
Yeah, and he has this generic epic music and everything. It's like, oh, it's Arc. That explains a lot. On the other hand, there's an animated show set in Arc, so it's like, this looks a lot better.
Prepare for certain.
Yeah, this feels like the first. Well, this is certainly the first instance I ever heard of him in a game, but apparently now I learned that he has his own game studio, which is like, so how come you never promoted it before? Like, I follow him on social media and I've never seen him promote it. I saw him promote his music more than his actual studio.
Still, the game.
I also
the games
remember.
that he
Oh
made-
yeah, he was also in one of the Riddick games.
Yeah, Escape from Butcher Bay.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, that's
Bunch
what I
it.
read up when I saw him.
No, it's not a good idea to bunch.
Don't worry, I
shit.
got my gas. Gas.
And all I could find was a sniper rifle.
Yeah, I prefer to.
Damn it.
Yeah, we
All I
really need
could
to
find
find
was a sniper rifle.
That is not going well. I suppose nobody has Titanfall, right? Yes, I do.
I don't have a sniper rifle. Oh, and let us move on to Cyberpunk 2077.
The main thing that everyone's talking about was
Yes, yes. I'm not surprised that it did well, critically wise. But what I'm also surprised is that the user score. I know you don't take it seriously on Metacritic. It's surprising.
I don't entirely dismiss them. It's just that rather I just don't put all of my stock into them.
Yeah, it's just
mainly.
like I'm surprised that especially the Xbox One and PS4 versions of Cyberpunk did poorly for technical reasons, and clipping of penises and boobs. No, I'm not kidding. What really
I know, I saw that.
and what really anchored me was the initial lack of a proper warning for ellipse warning, because there's a scene in there that that has the main character wear a helmet that heavily resembles ones that used for treatment. Blinking lights, red.
So yeah, it was definitely seeing that though. Like, it makes me convinced that I always like to give benefit of the doubt, but there is no way that they were not aware of what it is they were doing. If you had even the slightest common sense on what
They had
trigger
8
epilepsy.
years to work. They had several years working on this game, and numerous countless days.
They've
of crunching.
had 8 years to work, but the current iteration we saw was probably more developed in the last 3 years.
Yeah, probably. And that scene probably hasn't been. Really was made around. I don't know.
They
That's
had
what
one
people
job.
forget,
They had
that in
they had
any
one
sort of
job. And that
game
really
that
makes me
has-
angry. But I'm
In
glad
any
that they.
game that has like 8 years or very stupidly long cycles that are in development hell, it means the iteration you're seeing was probably only more or less developed within like a standard 2 to 3 year cycle, and they probably just dumped a whole bunch of old work that they did because it was no longer compatible, especially when we were going into the new generations.
Yeah.
Because keep in mind, it started in the PS3, Xbox 360 era, then the 360 era came in, and then the Xbox One era came in.
Yeah.
So they just had to keep updating their stuff and basically throwing a whole bunch of older stuff out. I honestly just wasn't interested to get it because I admit Cyberpunk is just not really a genre that I'm interested in. Admittedly, I just don't like things that have hyper-cynical kind of things to it, generally, but not always. And so, yeah, it's just something that I just never got into with it. And admittedly, the stuff with CDPR also didn't help either, especially considering they really like to lean into the whole gamer sphere of it, even though it ends up indirectly shitting on their
atmosphere. And here's a fun fact. In Cyberpunk 2077, your character cannot be non-binary. In Call of Duty Black Ops or Cold War, your character can be non-binary. That's funny.
Yeah,
and
really
especially, I admit, the hyper-customization in Cyberpunk feels very confusing, considering that it's first-person, so you can't see any of it. It's one thing if it's outfits, because in outfits, at least you often can see kind of when you're looking through. Like, in the case of Overwatch, like, your cosmetic can often affect the gun specifically. But in the case of something that's hyper-detailed, like very detailed hair, noses, faces, also how the size of your genitals as well. So it's like, but what's the point of all of this if you can't even see it on a regular basis? It's basically pointless.
Yeah, and your character's gender is
Monet.
Yeah, if I remember right, if your character's gender is tied to what voice you pick.
Which is kind of funny because in Star Wars Squadrons, you can more or less do whatever it is you want to do personally. Like, you could have a female body on a male head with a female voice, or a male voice, or whatever, and you would be able to just go with that. It doesn't explicitly recognize it as transgender, though honestly you could view it that way if you wanted to.
Yeah.
Or non-binary.
It's... yeah, it just seems like it's just... I don't know.
I think it's just because now we're starting to go into this area where non-binary and transgender is just becoming more and more accepted. So therefore now there's kind of becoming more of a pressure on games to start basically allowing those kind of options and to recognize them like within game.
Yeah. Yeah, Sims 4 did a better job.
Admittedly, I wouldn't know how to actually do that kind of stuff. I feel that it's going to have to be those groups who like have to inform, okay, so how would you be able to have someone in a RPG to be transgender and you officially acknowledge it, or if they're non-binary, like how are all the ways that you will meaningfully acknowledge it? Because that's admittedly outside my wheelhouse.
Yeah, same here.
It is.
That's a good question.
But at the very least, I just do think, though, that for it, and especially since they want to lean into the more criticizable aspects, like the infamous poster that was there, as to it's a dystopia, so what do you expect? Sure, but again, it's like you could still have things be, well, one, because it's a poster, though, and it's not something that we immediately are supposed to think we're supposed to criticize. I think, for instance, like The Outer Worlds does a really good job of where anything you look at that involves the corporations, it so clearly comically tells you that, yeah, this is so over the top, like you're not supposed to take these advertisements seriously.
Whereas Cyberpunk is more grounded by being set in 2077, and it has Keanu Reeves, which is cool.
So it's like, it is clear that, yeah, like, sure, with a dystopia, it gives you some leeway into the stuff that you're doing, but I just don't treat it as, like, a kind of like, so therefore you could just say anything that's questionably that you present, being like, oh, it's a dystopia where basically everything is terrible. Sure, but you could represent it with more tact as well. It's kind of a similar situation that I saw Chief mention with Assassin's Creed Valhalla and its depiction of the Vikings. Like,
yeah,
sure,
I'm very hesitant to buy the game because what happened at Ubisoft, and
let's land here.
Yeah.
Definitely. Because, like, yeah, like, because also not all historical inaccuracies are made equal. Like, sure, there is, like, things like in World War II games, how often the MP-40 is portrayed as this hyper-common gun among the German army, even though it was a gun that was seldomly used. It was mainly used by paratroopers more than anyone. The main weapon was the Kar 98, they mix it up kind of like where the U.S. and Russia, they actually did heavily use automatic submachine guns for a good deal of the war. So something like that, where it's like, it's something that is a discrepancy, but, you know, it's nothing too bad. But when you're dealing with culture specifically, and they're depicting of them, and you're depicting them as savages, like, almost entirely, then it ends up it ends up having this very kind of, bad view, though, that you can end up giving to audiences. Like, wow, these Viking guys were pretty fucking savage.
Yeah.
Or just simply badass, and then there are the Celtics that are just portrayed as, well, cuckoos, or simply not very not civilized, and also, well, it doesn't help that one of the DLCs that is in Ireland is going to.
Now, of course, the Vikings were not
assassin.
perfect. They definitely did do, like, their own share of colonialism and such, but they also did do, and even in some respects, were pretty progressive for their time, in some respects. Like, there was a lot to their history to explore, so I could understand why mainly it's either downplaying or even not acknowledging those aspects can come across as essentially just a bad thing. And I definitely find myself agreeing with that critique, because I believe that if you're going to portray groups of people, it is basically within, it's something that I would say is expected of you to make sure you're doing your homework and making sure that you're portraying them respectfully, or at least as accurately as you should reasonably have it. Like, as long as you have the major details about them down, then sure, I won't mind discrepancies, like maybe if certain armors or weapons are anachronistic or stuff like that, because if it's good enough in the presentation, I could just find myself not caring.
Yeah.
I mean, hell, even most medieval games usually have their weapons being anachronistic, as well as the armors, too.
Yeah, you cannot get 100% accuracy. You may slip up.
So yeah, so I mean, like, but at least in the major parts, just make sure that you try to keep the fictionalization to a minimum, and so that way, because for better or worse, a lot of people will learn about stuff like this from entertainment. It's not ideal, I wouldn't want people to learn it that way, but unfortunately, that is how most people are going to learn these things.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
So, it's more incumbent on you, if you're going to do history stuff, to do that.
Yeah, though for Cyberpunk 2077, I am glad that CPR has added a more proper warning to for epilepsy warning.
Although it doesn't shock me that it already basically made its money back on the first day of it.
Yeah,
I mean, with 8 million pre-orders, like,
8
they have
million.
more pre-orders than some games make in their entire game span.
Yeah, I mean, like for example, Control, Remedy recently announced that they made like 2 million, because they sold like 2 million copies, while Cyberpunk had like 8 million pre-orders fired.
And that's just the pre-orders. We're not even talking day one purchases
Already in the
either.
ring.
Yeah, that was like 8 million, like something like that.
Yeah, something similar to those numbers. So it's like, yeah, it's freaking crazy. I can't exactly attribute as to why so many people went and did that, though. Maybe it was just that because it was CDPR, so that bought a lot of goodwill with The Witcher 3. It could be that, certainly.
I mean, the fact that the game has been in development like for 8 years, it's, yeah.
Though it only, to me, became known within the last 2 years, give or take.
Seriously, I knew about the game since it was announced, more or less.
Same.
Maybe
Yeah,
like
back
a
in
year
2013. Back in 2013.
Yeah, I only heard about it within the last 2-ish years. Honestly, probably closer to the end of 2018, because then they started ramping the marketing up, and then that's when I became aware of it.
All right, hey, now I'm going to use my death totem. Want to go? Want me to go for it?
Where
Right here.
Careful.
Put him here. It won't
Oh,
corrupt
okay.
you
Coming.
much.
Well, time to be a scary demon thing.
Shit, I missed it.
I marked it, so you should see it right there.
No, I held X, but nothing seems to be happening.
Fuck, sonar.
There we are. I think they got a bloodhound. And my death protection is gonna wear out soon. There we go.
Yeah, though honestly, it's not going to surprise me if Cyberpunk, because since they came out at this point, it's the same situation Fallen Order dealt with, where they ended up not being. Yeah, I see.
I'll cover you.
Get up before I kill you myself.
Shit, there's a hologram.
Careful.
You're
Yep.
better off dead, but I could use the cover.
That's so mean.
I know Revenant is the mean guy that you don't want to be around, except you know you had to.
It's freaking.
Any last words?
It's
I killed the champion.
Edge Lord.
Yeah,
And our
everything about him is edgelord. Oh, heads up,
Who's Edgelord?
Any last words?
Revenant.
Bloodhound? Oh, sorry, I thought it was someone else.
Next one.
careful. Ooh, Spitfire. Shit.
Holy shit! I think I killed the entire squad. Nice. Oh, does anyone need a shield battery? There you go.
Shield battery here.
There we go. What else is there to talk about? Oh, and a new map for Among Us. And not only that, but it'll be out on the computer version, or for the computer version on the Xbox Game Pass.
Yeah, that's a thing.
Yeah, Xbox Game Pass, again, just constantly flexing those muscles.
Yeah, I've heard that PlayStation is looking into it as well.
Yeah, but honestly, I think the advantage of the being Xbox is all the PC support that Microsoft already has.
Battery here.
Yeah.
Shadowhawk. Oh, that was meant to be for Shadowhawk, but okay. Because Shadowhawk
Hey,
is
what's
like for
happening?
shields.
Gonna go get back it.
Oh.
Here
Yeah.
it goes.
The new season of Fall Guys, Fall Guys. Yeah, Fall Guys. The one with the all that contests and everything.
Yeah.
Nope.
Shield here. Level 3.
Alrighty, so I think we're good. We should be good. Just
Thanks.
don't try not to
I'm taking
Yeah.
Okay, got you.
Get up before I kill you myself.
Just cover me while I try to
Yeah.
Damn it.
Oh shit.
Move it.
Behind you, Shadowhawk.
Oh, shit.
Nice, you knocked one down. Okay, so
Yeah, hang in there.
shields up.
yeah, you don't have to worry about like having to do it personally. Your bot do the rest. No, that's the rest. That's the overhaul with Lifeline. She could like revive two people at the same at a time.
Fuck you.
Her bot reviving one and herself reviving another.
This is the most amount of executions I've ever done in a single game.
That's impressive.
Like, that makes, like, I think my third one.
How many kills you got right now?
Here, I think I saw another one.
Evo shield here. Level 3.
Okay, let's see. What do we have here?
Yeah,
Ooh,
we're doing a
shit.
lot better than usual. We're doing a lot better. This is our time.
Definitely. This is one of the better games that I've been on.
Oh god damn it! I don't have ammo
Oh, and I don't think
What
there's
ammo
much-
do you need? What ammo do you need?
from a machine gun.
Yeah. Oh, and let's talk about all the stuff from the Disney Investor stuff, like Marvel, Star
I guess I'll
Wars.
start with the Marvel stuff that we'll start with there.
Here.
Because they seem to have announced both similarly, though. So, for the Marvel stuff, it looks like
Shit.
that's the one we'll be getting first for this year, since we're going to be getting them back-to-back. So we have WandaVision that's coming out in January. Falcon the Winter Soldier in March, surprised me. I actually thought that was going to come much later if we were even getting it this year.
Reloading.
Alright,
Reloading.
where is...
we're getting next year though.
Well, yeah, I'm saying next year, but I'm saying like it came within January, I mean March for Falcon, and I thought that was going to come either later on, like probably in fall, or because of Corona, maybe we just weren't going to get it because they didn't film everything. Though it looks like we are going to be having it by March, and then after that, in a broad summer date, we're getting the What If series.
Enemy,
We're
enemy,
talking
enemy.
about a lot.
I have no. I have no.
Yep, I see gas.
Shit.
Gas, we're getting
I
gassed.
shut it down.
Right.
Ow. I think they just shot my robot ass.
Shit!
Hey, at least
Punch
it was a good run. So yeah, a shit ton of Marvel Star Wars stuff, and some of the stuff even surprised me. Like we officially got a third Ant-Man movie called Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, which
Yeah,
will
that
have
was one
which
that
will
was
have Kristen, which will have Kane the Conqueror. You know, the time traveling conqueror. Hence the name.
Yeah.
No.
I guess now that time traveling is in, so might as well have someone who can also time travel too.
And
So for me,
and Loki, and that Loki is going to have some time traveling. And the ending of that trailer sees Loki flying out of a plane, looking like D.B. Cooper. I haven't put the connection together until someone pointed it out. Right, opening my Apex crate. Let's see what things I get. Oh, fair warning, if you play as Revenant, he will like walk left and right on the screen before he goes into shadow form and charges at you. Just fair warning.
sure.
Okay.
Anyway,
So, yeah.
yeah, we got a lot of them. I'm still shocked at the sheer amount of Marvel stuff. We got trailers for all of the new stuff. Not much on the movie side, but we got some Disney Plus series. That's not surprising.
Oh yeah.
And Christian Bale is going to be in the fourth Thor movie called and he'll be Thor the God Killer.
The God Killer. Yeah, so again, it looks like we're going into the more positive stuff though for this whole Phase 4 thing. Now, well, not Phase 5 now. So I'm really interested to see how that ends up going.
Yep.
Especially something like the God Killer aspect of it.
Yep. Also thinking, oh yeah, there's going to be like a holiday special of Guardians of the Galaxy, and
it's a theatrically released movie. It's not a Disney Plus special.
It's Disney Plus. I think it's Disney Plus. I think it's Disney Plus.
No, James Gunn confirmed it's an actual movie that's being released in theaters in, I believe, is 2023.
Damn.
Oh. Quite a long ways off.
Long winter?
I'll be honest, it's like, okay, this is some... I don't know, with James Gunn, this feels like something I should expect. I just still don't expect it.
Here we go. Ready up.
Yeah.
Eh.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So for this, I'm just basically like okay, like unexpected, but I'll
and the
hope
Groot
to see what happens.
and the Groot shorts. Yeah, there's gonna be a series starring meeting like baby Groot.
Squad coming in. Careful.
Oh, I see a squad.
Oh,
so
we have one other group
Squad.
who came with us. That's great.
yep, going over there.
Rush. Rush.
Uh-oh. Did someone lag? I got it.
Shit. Got a grenade.
Oh, they got me. Ow. Yep, they got me for real.
Damn it, there's no guns around where I am.
Yeah, say
I gotta go.
Attachments. Damn
they
it.
got all the guns. Yeah, oh. What else is there to talk about? Oh, Star Wars. We got a lot of Star Wars stuff. And the one that surprised me but pleasant is Patty Jenkins doing a pilot-themed Star Wars movie, Rogue Squadron.
Rogue Squadron.
Yeah.
Based famously on the games, that funny enough, that Star Wars Squadrons was itself inspired by, so I would say,
traded
alright.
blows then.
I didn't know that aspect of her story, that her dad was himself a fighter pilot, so it seemed that apparently this is like something that allows her to do that big passion project. So really confident to see what exactly she's going to bring to the table. I mean, I loved Wonder Woman, and apparently, from what I'm told, Wonder Woman 84 is just as good, if not better, based on people who have already seen it. So that has me full confidence in whatever it is she's about to deliver.
Yep. And we also got an Ahsoka series. We're gonna have something called Rangers of the New Republic. From what I've heard, they're both set around the time frame of the Mandalorian. Have you seen the
It
latest?
gives me vibes that the DC TV universe has been doing for the last several years, where the shows do their own thing, but there will be one ensemble episode where they all converge to meet some big or new threat that's there.
I mean, I don't think it's going to happen necessarily in the Star Wars thing because well, it's across all the it's across all timelines. Maybe the Marvel stuff, but I mean that's there's going to be a movie.
Here's something that's
It's
surprising.
Gonna be a movie.
We're gonna have a show, I think, called Acolyte, set during the days of the High Republic. And
I think in this one, the High Republic is going to be more or less taking over the aspect of it that the Old Republic had in the Star Wars Legends continuity. At least is what it looks more like to me, considering that they're showing this as the expansionary era, because apparently in this part of the timeline, most of what we see in the galaxy in the so-called Outer Rim was largely unknown. So it could be the Old Republic, if they establish that later in this new canon, will be a lot smaller than we ended up seeing in the original timeline.
Yeah.
Oh, well, the Legends timeline.
Yeah. Because
Wait,
by the Legends timeline, like, the whole galaxy was more or less explored through, like, basically even thousands of years prior, whereas even the High Republic, which is only about 300 years prior, give or take, apparently has a good chunk of the galaxy that's still not explored very well.
It's being the last one alive.
Yeah, something taking
So-
that galaxy like this are big.
So I'm
kinda makes
really
sense.
curious for the Acolyte, because I honestly am interested in that, mainly because of what it is, because of how different. It's a mystery thriller sort of show that they're going with, which makes it very interesting to me to see how that's going to be approached. It's also in similar respects why I'm very interested in the Andor series, because it's a very spy-focused kind of story.
Yes,
so
I
it
am
means
looking
we
forward to that.
probably. So even though there will be action sequences, it'll probably more so try to be focused on him getting in and out of locations without being discovered.
And it has
as well as
K2SO,
also just intel gathering.
the snarky droid.
So I'm
I've
especially
heard
just
fan of
happy that Daniel Luna, like, seeing how infectiously happy he is to be right back in this series, though, it just always warms my heart when I see that.
Yeah,
Like, he's just so happy to return to this role when he thought that that movie was the only instance he would have it. And I wouldn't blame him, because, yeah, I actually think his performance was, like, probably the strongest in Rogue One, and I really loved that movie.
Yeah. He's like as far as I know, he's like the current continuity equivalent of Kyle Katarn, because in the canon, he was one of the people who saw a part of the Death Star's plan.
In that respect, yeah. But I do like that they ended up showing that sort of level to where even though he's trying to do good things, but occasionally he ends up crossing lines to do so. So putting him in sort of morally kind of edgy kind of situations, which I say is definitely something I'm interested in seeing with that. And especially because, again, since I loved Rogue One and I loved Cassian in particular, I'm really excited to go and see what he brings to it. It's too bad we didn't get to see anything as far as footage, because they only just recently started filming, so I'm just curious to see what that brings. And then the other news, we have the Kenobi series, which I'm glad it was announced is a limited run series, so it's not going to be The Mandalorian where we're going to get probably multiple seasons before it ends. It's 6 episodes, and then that's going to be the end of it.
And most of the surprising thing is that Hayden Christensen is returning as Darth Vader.
Yeah, because he played in he was in the physical costume in episode 3, so they just have him doing the role for that. And I'm so happy that these prequel era actors are actually being able to go back into these roles. I've been reading over Tamara Morrison when he returned for The Mandalorian as Boba, and he was just like so ecstatic and happy that he got to return. And Hayden is expressing the very same kind of enthusiasm over it, and it's just really great to see.
Yeah, I am looking forward. I'm also looking forward to see the sequel era actors returning as well. They will. I'll bet they will feel the same.
I'm sure that'll probably happen in due time. And also, since they... In Rogue Squadron, the movie, they say that they're going into a future era of Star Wars, which is played very vague because I think sequel trilogy, but future era could also mean post-Rise of Skywalker, so who honestly ends up knowing at this point?
I am looking forward either way. I'm actually quite interested in seeing post-Episode 9 stories. Just like the movie stories, see how things unfold.
That's kind of what Legends did as well. Legends actually even had like a story that took place after the main Heroes one, where we saw Luke Skywalker's like great descendant basically have to go into this sort of big conflict. It was very messy and honestly just very sort of goofy, but honestly it was kind of charming in its own way.
Yeah. I know which one was Cade Skywalker and all the weird stuff.
Him.
Like there are multiple factions.
It was very trippy and very weird, but also kind of charming in its own way. Although I just think that Cade Skywalker's design was just very funny because it's like he kind of looks like very Dude Bro-ish, especially with the piercings and the facial hair.
Yeah. You'd always see it.
Yeah, definitely. Especially since he has that lightsaber shotgun combo, which feels like, you know what? Screw it.
Erza, it's something what Erza would hold up. Shotgun, lightsaber, yes. That's like and you thought Kylo Ren's lightsaber was ridiculous.
I tell you, Chief, just look it up.
And you thought Kylo Ren's lightsaber was ridiculous. There's also a lightsaber whip.
Yes,
Luminara's lightsaber.
Yeah, lightsaber whip. And you know, yeah, that's not even the tip of the iceberg.
So yeah, and also to show if it wasn't trippy enough, Mace Windu's master was in that series. She was that old.
Oops! I almost fell to my death.
So as I said, yeah, that story. I didn't read it. I just researched what happened in it because again, it's not like I have access to comic books, but it was still like this is very trippy. But I also feel like I'd have a lot of fun with it.
And we got the ghost of Luke Skywalker bugging Cade.
Basically. Like, go, this is your destiny. Go away, my great-grandfather.
Go away? Okay, Boomer. Yeah, yeah. I haven't really
like as I said, like it's very trippy and also it's also in many respects kind of ridiculous. Though honestly, this is comic books. Ridiculousness is kind of what I expect. In a comic book.
Yeah. I'm just being honest. I really want to see a post Rise of Skywalker just because there's a lot more story going ahead.
Yeah, I'm honestly, regardless of era, whether we're going future or backwards, I'm honestly up to seeing whatever eras we can explore, though. I'm always up for it, because again, like, you never know what it is you'll like. And also, when you explore eras, there can also be a lot of stories with it. I mean, plenty of people didn't like the prequel films, but the prequel stories are something a lot of people have grown to love, though. Although, the films themselves have grown in love as the years gone by. I mean, hell, a lot of people are excited to see the very man they were deriding 15 years ago.
Anakin Skywalker. It's fun to see.
I mean, if you told someone 15 years ago, hey, Hayden Christensen is going to come back in a major Star Wars capacity and people are going to love it, they'd look at you like you were fucking crazy.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's definitely true.
Shocker, to say the least.
I mean, I don't mind it. Like, I've been on a recent prequel rewatch, and sure, I could say, especially in episode 2, where it could be more, definitely on the more whinier side, though, honestly.
Yeah, and I find a lot of episodes 1 and 2 just boring. If you ask me, a boring Star Wars does not make for a good Star Wars.
I personally don't mind it, and I think that was kind of the point with it, is that they weren't trying to go with this, oh, he was this super humble warrior, but essentially someone who was more... Yeah. I would say, even if I think that the complicated aspects was something George could have worked on and, you know, probably had
definitely, because he didn't have people who, like, told him, no, bad idea.
I overall dug it. And honestly, I think he more or less got it more nailed down when episode 3 finally came around, which is why people can accept it.
Yeah, that's why despite I think episode 3, despite I find it pretty good, pretty good at least. always did find the fight scenes in Revenge of the Sith too polished. It's over polished. It's like in the fight between Anakin and Obi-Wan, it feels over choreographed.
Yeah, I've seen that complaint, though it's always, as I say, very funny when I see people say how see them now. Because again, I always think that's always how you deal with a lot of these legacy franchises, especially with Star Wars, where specifically in when it involves stuff with the Skywalkers specifically, Adam Lance Garcia on Twitter had the best explanation with it, which is things like that will always end up being divisive to a good deal of the audience, whereas the stuff surrounding it won't be, because one plays with your toys, the other just uses your playset. Which honestly is what strikes me with it, which is why the stories surrounding them are stuff they don't mind, but when it starts directly involving them is when people will end up being
defensive.
Yes. So that's why I say it's, for me, no different from this, though. I mean, it's going to probably always follow the same pattern with movies, at least with the Skywalker saga, which is areas of movies that people were very divisive with / didn't like, then the years go on, and then people like it, and then onwards. Like, especially with the Boba Fett stuff, which is kind of funny, which is that a lot of people hated the aspect of him being a clone, though, was the thing. That was a very disliked aspect, seeing it ruined his mystery and whatnot. These days, you won't really find anyone who has any objections to that part of his story. And people actually even use it to even celebrate it in parts. So I kind of always use it with that, where honestly the things that are derided likely end up becoming the stuff people will love later.
That's true.
I just think that's always an aspect with this legacy franchise, because as people also, when the younger audience gets older, because they were the ones who end up becoming the main voices we hear on it, they're going to be like, yeah, we loved that stuff, though.
We always loved it. What are you talking about?
Honestly, because I always say the internet can often be something that is not really indicative of the internet. Like when I went to Star Wars Celebration in Orlando, my hometown, in 2017, because again, when you're looking on the internet, a lot of Force Awakens hate you saw on there, and then when I went to the actual convention, which had thousands of people, they loved the movie, though. They were like, yeah, we thought it was really fantastic, even these years later. So often I always find that conventions, you can often find people being more on the positive end of stuff, when the internet is usually something that could be distortive of it, because people at the end of the day are there to just celebrate what it is they love. And even if there are aspects of it to where they don't like again with you, Nord, with the prequels, they're more of like, yeah, we just still love this series, we're not like leaving it, we still think it's amazing.
Yeah.
Although, and still backtracking a bit to the Marvel stuff with the She-Hulk announcement, I'm just mainly hoping that it'll be able to resolve some of the plot threads that were left in Incredible Hulk that never got addressed because new movies.
The guy who played the Abomination is coming back. Which is
good for.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. And also, let me think. Speaking of. Oh yeah, so I've heard that. Here's some crazy things I've heard about that Daredevil's gonna be back. And probably She-Hulk and in the third Spider-Man movie. And speaking of the third Spider-Man movie, I've heard of reports that the previous actors who played Spider-Man will be in the third Spider-Man movie, along with the actor who played Doc Ock and Electro. Actors who play Doc Ock.
I take the Doc Ock actor because that one was officially reported on by official sources, whereas Charlie Cox seems to at least be more rumor rather than something that's been confirmed at this point. But at this point, I kind of consider anything could be on these tables. I just kind of hope that this doesn't get into the realm where we have all these characters, but we don't really exactly know what is going on with it specifically. I mean, again, honestly, I'll just try to trust with them because I really liked Homecoming. While Far From Home wasn't majorly my cup of tea, I still overall enjoyed it.
Yeah, I really did like how Spider-Man in that movie dispatched.
But I do like that the MCU Spider-Man is a very original interpretation of him, where they're not really trying to imitate anything others, and they're trying to go with, like the rest of these movies, with their own thing. I know to a lot of people that has been something they didn't like. They feel that Iron Man being a mentor was something that he shouldn't have been. That
was actually in the main comics at one point, and in the Ultimate Universe at one for most of his storyline.
admittedly, I'm much more
Here we
familiar
go.
with
Ready
DC Comics continuity than with the Marvel continuities as well. So the Marvel comics are something I largely don't really know what happened. Maybe only certain parts in that I've heard of, but haven't really explored it much.
Yeah. And we got some people lined over there. Let's not go into the buildings.
Oh shit! We're considered off the battlefield. I guess we're
Fall
too
damage,
high
fall
up.
damage.
No, there's no fall damage in this thing.
Oh, thank God for that.
Yeah.
'Cause
It's a tiny for spin-off. You are expecting fall damage?
Hey, eyes on the maps. Next ring's not close.
No, but since I didn't, since I remember that I couldn't wall jump, or double jump for that matter, I got a bit scared.
That would be nice.
Shit, I got gassed.
Yeah, it would be
Alright, so let's go
nice.
into this building.
I think they implemented it in a limited time game.
Yes,
Maybe?
that's true. But only for like shadows who have respawned.
Oh shit!
I'm coming.
I just failed.
You okay?
Yes, I'm good for now.
Yeah. And speaking of Wonder Woman, apparently some of the directors and stuff who are making movies for Warner Brothers, they're not happy about Warner Brothers' decision to spontaneously release their movies on HBO Max and in theaters. Because it was made without their awareness. They just found out shortly before Warner Brothers made the announcement. And although
I just think though that like for them having that sort of announcement, like I could sort of get the frustration of not being in the loop, but in the case of Nolan, when it's like, dude, because being in theaters, you're going to, well, one, it's clear a lot of people are trying to stay out of theaters, even despite their pushes though for reopening. Like I even just went to 3 separate movies that had the throwback stuff, and the theaters were largely empty. Like it wasn't even like it was packed by COVID standards. It's like it honestly felt like the way I usually see in movies for the most part when I would go to movies before Corona, which is where they would be for the most part basically desolate.
yeah, that's one way to put it. Yeah, and I think
And again, I think Chris Stuckman had a very good some talking points about how streaming can even be better for movie theaters, especially the theater experience, because I've definitely experienced some of the stuff he said, like people who talk loudly or on their phones during that, and then they could just watch that movie at home while you could just enjoy the theater experience without issue. I will still remember one day when I was watching Bumblebee when it first came out, and there was this guy who was snoring so freaking loudly, and he was so distracting.
ooh, yeah, that's bad.
Give me my shield to recharge.
Thank you for the
Why?
assist.
Screw you.
Yeah, no problem.
I mean, we should move from now. The circle is closing in, and we are really at the edge of it.
That's a good point. Well, let's loot.
We should go then, yeah.
Clean up. Give
Yeah,
me
Loot time.
shit. Careful.
What? Be careful. We don't take hold down.
Enemy.
Oh,
Enemy.
give me a second. I'm healing.
Warning. New movement in progress.
Again, thank God for no fall damage.
Rings moving.
At least I can get
Screw
out of
you.
situations better. Alright, killed somebody.
That was the last
Nice.
Got him there.
Hey, only half the squads are
Just
left.
give me ammo, please.
Hey, half the squads are left, so that means Thanos will be happy. What? You get it?
Huh?
You get it? My little down. Oh, and speaking of HBO Max, I've heard rumors that the Directors Guild
shit,
of
yeah, we
America
really gotta
is
start
considering a
moving.
boycott. Which
It
is,
is-
For seriously?
Healing up.
yeah, they're considering there's been talk of boycott of a Warner Brothers. It's like, okay, that's
By who exactly?
Recharging shield.
the Directors Guild of America, and if I remember-
Basically the guys that run the
But it's
run
like,
the
you guys
Oscars.
are probably going to make more money in this direction than if you were to try to in theaters when people,
No,
even
move.
if, when it's like, even if you were to get like something like Wonder Woman 84, it releases in theaters, and you were to get it full to capacity, which let's keep remembering, about every theater capacity with COVID restrictions has it to where it can only be filled to 40% capacity. So meaning that even if in the regular movie theaters and they are filled to capacity, you're still only going to be making 40% of what you would have wanted to make. Whereas with the streaming service on HBO Max, you have a very good chance of where, oh shit, you've had a car.
Yeah.
What?
Hold on, I'm coming with you.
Is Chief on here?
No.
There we go.
No.
Okay, good. Now let's get the hell out of here. Where I'm saying, yeah, they would probably be standing to make much more money if they did it with that approach, honestly.
On the other hand, HBO Max is kind of limited to the United States, so...
See you, brothers. This is
At least for
my
now.
Yeah,
But even
for now,
then,
but
it's
also,
freaking. But even then, HBO servers are freaking expensive.
Oh shit,
it
really?
is. It's $17
Yeah, like-
for every month.
Yeah,
To put that in
having
context,
HBO.
my Amazon Prime is $11 and my Disney Plus subscription is $8.
Yeah,
I think
because
for
you'll be,
Netflix,
because you'll
theirs
have a
is like
small
13.
price hike from $7 to $8.
So it's like,
Yeah, like-
like HBO Max is definitely a pretty pricey kind of subscription service. Although it seems, especially with their DC catalog, they're in this bind to where they still want to keep their DC Universe app running, even despite everything. When I'm like, just scrap it and put it onto HBO Max, honestly. Especially if you're going to be putting your DC specials on there, why not just go the whole way?
Yeah, and I think that some DC movies are leaving the HBO Max. It's like, why? And you're gonna
Again, trying to make sure that DC Universe also has its good selection and stuff, so it's like, okay, you have to subscribe to this. Look, I love DC stuff, but I don't think I would subscribe to an app that was solely based on that.
I subscribe to Marvel Unlimited.
So it just has that kind of feeling with it.
Yeah, it's a shame that there's been some trouble at Warner Brothers. Like, whew.
I just think this is just a good approach, and keep in mind, their movies are still being released in theaters, so it's like, what's your problem?
Yeah, what's the problem?
Yeah, I think it's because they weren't informed
Like,
ahead
it's
of time.
not like, oh, we are not releasing in theaters and we are only going to be releasing to HBO Max. Like, sure, that'd be one thing, but it's like, you guys have, like, you're getting your movies released in theaters. Like, when I saw Movie Bob throw that conniption over it, but it's like, dude, you can still watch King Kong versus Godzilla in theaters when it comes out.
Though he
I wouldn't
is
recommend
pissed about,
it.
he's kind of pissed about like King Kong versus. It's like, dude, it's a movie. Why you such a baby about it? Why you such a baby about it and being such a hypocrite? When
Like,
when
I
you
wanna
were
see
Disney
it.
with Mulan.
I mean, he's a big fanboy of kaiju films.
Because it's like, dude, like,
Not all of
you
us
were
are in
going
the
on
ring.
and on
Protect your
about how
max.
you were not going to see Tenet because you're not going to risk your health for it, but all of a sudden, this is the movie you're willing to risk potentially dying for, and to my knowledge, he is immunocompromised, so what the hell is the deal?
I mean, based on that, he probably might not may not want to go to see it.
Like, in
Yeah,
Tenet, then it's like, then your real thing is that with Tenet, you just don't want to, because he's made it clear he doesn't think Nolan's movies are really any good for the most part. Like, he kind of considers them very overrated, so it's like, alright, fine then. But again, like, even with theaters, it's like, even I'm considered healthy, but I wouldn't really want to go to theaters for a new movie. Like, Wonder Woman 84, yes, I'd love to see that in theaters, but I'm not going to risk my health for it. Sure, theaters are starting to point where you can now reserve private auditoriums, but I don't think Wonder Woman 84 is worth me paying $120 for it.
Jesus Christ, $120?
What?
No, that's for a private
shit.
theater. Like, you basically get an entire theater to yourself.
Thermite out.
So it's a good offer, but I just don't think it's worth it.
Going
Because
back
it
to
would
go.
just be for me.
Alright, I got you.
They'll never shoot through these.
Yeah, so Connor, keep that in mind, that it's like, I'm talking about, like, you get a private theater, but I don't think I want to rent out a theater just for this movie.
Yeah, that's a little much for just one type of movie.
Like, I'm gonna do it as an experience with some friends of mine in January, with some coworkers, but I just don't really think I want to do it. Someone could revive, that'd be appreciated.
I got you.
I'm behind cover, so at least you'll be fine. Chief's got them occupied. Do you have any healing packs? I don't have any. I only have shields.
Lifeline, so yes.
Wait.
I got an
Come here,
idea.
come here.
I'm gonna set this up.
Yeah, need some help.
Not. I don't have
I'll hold
ammo
them off.
right now.
All right, thanks for that. Yeah, this will at least, however much it gives me, will help.
Yep. Alright, so I'm gonna loot some stuff, and...
Legit.
Oh, I see enemy behind
All right,
the door.
fully healed. Yep, I'm good now. Thanks, man.
No problem.
Uh,
Chief, heal up.
yeah, shit.
Here's a shield battery if you need it.
Oh yeah, I need that.
Rain down some destruction.
Oh, okay, that was dumb. Ow.
Is there an airstrike? Oh, yeah. We called it an
Airstrike
airstrike.
group.
Oh, I got
There
it
is-
on second airstrike, but the other...
We should move. We should move.
We're in the next ring.
Yep.
I probably have to leave after this match, though, since I have to go and talk with my girlfriend about some stuff that she needs to talk to me about that are important. Just letting you guys know.
Hey,
Yeah.
good luck.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's after this match. I still got time. So yeah.
Package coming in.
So far, so for all the announcements though I've seen, I'm still very much wanting to, very much looking forward to it. Even if there's some like Mass Effect that at least has to be a bit cautious because, like, it's more so because I just don't want them going into the same ambitious rabbit hole that Andromeda got into, where it's like they had great ideas and it was really big. But it's like
very fair.
perhaps kind of like Watch Dogs Legion, maybe it was too big of a scope to go for.
That's a very
Like
fair.
even for a AAA scope.
In regards to that, yeah, I mean, it's not. I don't think they're going to take like freaking 8 years to do so.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
they've learned their lesson.
I don't think BioWare's going to go that far, but there are just some times where even for AAA games, a scope is just too big to go for.
Still looking forward to the Legendary Edition of the Mass Effect trilogy.
Give me my shield to recharge.
Because again, like, if we're going to go into this route where we're bridging the two galaxies, like, then you're going to have people who are going to start, like, thinking, like, oh, okay, so I can play in Andromeda, but not the Milky Way, or vice versa, and you may end up having to make, like, 2 games of the size of these very large maps. Especially if you want to go to Milky Way and Citadel. And especially if you're going to bridge the two
Got one.
galaxies, oh boy, are you going to start opening the can of worms as to which ending was the ending. And man, are those wounds going to be reopened really badly.
I can see it. I see it.
I mean, honestly, I will just like any sort of thing involving canon, I'll probably be able to accept it for what it is, though. Even though I still believe that Destroy Ending is the best one. But, you know, things like, oh, hey, you know what, the Control ending and the Reapers disappeared after that, I'd be like, whatever, sure.
I mean, honestly, I think I would have if they wanted to do something after Mass Effect 3. They better
Here's
reboot
another
it.
question: how would they address some of the stuff in Mass Effect 3? Which ones would they consider canon? Which ones they wouldn't? Oh.
That's what I mean. It's like, if you go in there, like, you're going to be opening up that rabbit hole because she's visibly older, so she definitely is going to remember the events of Mass Effect 3. And that's what I mean by saying you're going to probably open up a really big can of worms if you start going in there, because then everyone's going to obsess over, so what was the ending? Which of us had decided or was correct in deciding which ending it was?
Oh, and we lost, but I got 2 kills and 2 kills for the count.
Yeah, at least we got far.
Uh-huh.
6.
Oh, a total of 6. That's actually not bad. That's actually not. That's not bad.
Was that our best?
Yeah, that's our match.
That was our best.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Game,
basically
set.
our best match.
Yeah, our best. Yeah, we got some pretty good matches.
Alright, guys, well, I gotta go, so it was great talking to you. Great talking to you, Chief, as well. Hopefully you'll be able to have more parties with us in the future.
I will. I'm finishing. I'm getting. I will.
Yeah.
When do you finish school?
Well, university, but I'm finishing this semester next week, so I will be able to play more.
Yay.
Oh, okay, sweet.
Yeah, and more D&D with you, though. Sunday's group has 6 players, so I'll have to figure something out.
Yeah, it's a bit of a mess now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, guys, well, it was great playing with you guys, and I'll be seeing you guys next time, whenever I get around.
And we'll be seeing him with a D&D on the 23rd, and hopefully more after that.
Definitely.
Yeah.
All right then. So talk to you guys later. Bye.
All right, Sai.
Goodbye.
Do you want to do more of this, Chief, or are we good?
Let's make another game.
Another
Play
game?
another one.
Yeah, sure. We can do another game. So anything that caught your eye at the Video Game Awards and other stuff?
Well, the Perfect Dark game was interesting. The Callisto Protocol 2.
Yeah, that's
which-
interesting, and I can't believe I mentioned it, but Ghost and Goblins. I like the art style, very medieval-like.
I really didn't like the aesthetic of the thing. It's in my opinion it looks ugly, but
And I
that's just
cannot
me.
believe I forgot to mention the Buzz Lightyear in Universe prequel, the one with Chris Evans. Now well.
Uh,
Yeah, I
But yeah,
wonder why
something
they
I-
didn't have Tim Allen aboard.
who knows? The other thing that caught my eye, or well, that surprised me at least, it was the appearance of the sort of singer. I don't know if you
and me,
got him, but he Eddie Vedder. Eddie Vedder.
I have no idea who that is. Sorry.
Yeah, he's the singer of Pearl Jam. And one of the songs of that band was featuring The Last of Us Part 2. I didn't know that
Yeah.
part myself.
Oh
so
yeah, the themes that go over with each of their games of the year contenders. Is that it?
No. It's a song, not a theme.
Oh,
Also,
that guy. Oh yeah, I know who you're talking about. The name escapes me, but I know who exactly you're talking about.
Yeah, so it was cool to see him just perform. He's very good. I like that guy.
It's
a
a
lot.
nice thing to see, no?
Dead or not, you have to admit that was awesome.
That was good. That was something surprising to me at least. It was very nice to know that.
Alright, let's land over there.
Maybe lay off caffeine, huh?
Press X to launch. Press X to launch, unless we're gonna lose before we even play, technically. So, how's Apex Legends so far?
I don't particularly like
Battle Royale?
battle royales myself, but it's not always because if one mistake and you're screwed.
We made our mistake right about now. Come on, I know how to box!
Wait, somebody else. Yeah, like that.
If we were on the same team, you would be happy about this. You're a bum.
Just like how Darth Vader is happy right about this right now. Holy crap. We lived!
So yeah,
Woo-hoo.
I
That
live
was
back
fun
again.
for all, but mostly us.
But the thing about it is, what's it? I mean, I got lost. I got sidetracked.
Yeah.
So
It happens a lot. We get sidetracked about all sorts of gaming stuff, so that's the charm of play and talk. We play games, and sometimes something random pops up.
yeah.
And I almost
Spitfire.
forgot to mention to Shutterhawk, a new Fantastic Four movies in the MCU, directed by the guy who did the Spider-Man movies, the Spider-Man MCU movies.
Sam Raimi.
Oh, the Spider-Man MCU movies. John Watts, I believe. But Sam Raimi is going to do the second Doctor Strange movie.
Ah, yeah. Ah, right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it might be good.
Yeah,
think-
that's
well,
definitely good. Looking forward to see how they would do Fantastic Four. Large times the charm, no?
Yeah, it could be good. I personally not that big fan of that team. It's just my thing. But
Yeah, fair.
that's good. Sounds like a good idea.
Yeah, and
At least for now.
Chadwick Boseman would not be recast in the second Black Panther movie. Probably for the best.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they made Disney made a similar decision with somewhat similar decision with Leia. in For the Rise of Skywalker. Instead, they used archived footage from The Force Awakens. Like I said, probably the best solution.
At least for now, until they get a new Black Panther.
Yeah. So, yeah, I remember that Shuri was for a while the next Black Panther when T'Challa died in the comics.
I know a lot of people would like to for Michael B. Jordan to be the new Black Panther.
He played
hand wave
Killmonger.
it.
He played Killmonger and he
Yeah.
died.
Keep eyes on the new kill leader.
Yeah, but literally just hand wave it as well. He revived from the snap, but be done with it.
Or in fact, Wakandan medicine. Fuck.
What happened on?
I'm getting gassed.
Oh, you're down there.
Yep, I wasn't expect.
We need to move
I know.
fast, yeah?
I know, and I just realized that the death box is still was still around when we killed Bloodhound.
Where? Where are you firing?
There's a hostile nearby. I didn't get a chance after I reloaded.
Looks like a care package is coming in. Big things in that.
He probably went up.
Yoink.
Up. We should move now.
Yep,
That'd
moving. Yeah, probably a good thing that I decided to delay play and talk till today because this is because of all the big announcements.
Yep. So I think that my problem with this is basically that we have a big difference. I mean, have about 3 to 4 hour difference. Because right now it's like it's 9, and for you it's like 5.
And it's around 5 p.m. here.
Yeah, so we have that problem that like a
Time
5
zone.
hour.
The only thing
4 hour.
in favor of those crazy ass flat earthers.
Oh, if time was equal everywhere.
Yeah. And I appreciate you liking my joke right there. Came up with it myself. Okay, I am. Yeah, can you heal me real quick once we get inside?
Half the squads remain.
Yeah. I'll hear you.
Yeah, once we get inside the circle, use our healing drone.
Righto.
Yep. And my tongue is sore spot of my tongue kind of hurts when I press on it.
Hitting the eject button.
There we go.
Deploying health drone.
Close enough. Where are you?
Thank you.
I'm not gonna try to figure out how a healing drone would heal up a robot. Like, whatever.
I mean, yeah, that's not questioning the logic of that. Because when you start questioning stuff like that.
We're not cinema sins. We are not.
Yep. Cinema sins. Where cinema wins.
Oh,
That's a
I
great
heard really good things about Cinema Wins.
Yeah, it's a great channel. We like it.
Never got the chance to see more of that guy. Oh yeah. Oh, got it. I can't believe I haven't got to the backpack, but now I do. Drink.
I think we can. Yeah, I think we can call it here. Nope, I can't.
Oh, ultimate.
Can't call the care picture.
Gonna take that. Yeah. Yeah, there's some pretty crazy stuff that happened in Saturday's session, like the Mage Anthem War. Not the only crazy thing.
I mean, to be honest, it was like, well, it was all
Hitting the eject button.
December 11. It was crazy stuff with crazy facts and announcements.
Yeah, it was.
Honestly,
December 10th. It was. Yeah.
so yeah, December 10th. Yeah. Honestly, for myself,
Like I said, I screamed at the top of my lungs when I when I realized that yes, this is a Mass Effect teaser.
yeah, well, I
You
would have been excited.
You probably have heard me scream. You were you on the voice chat on Discord when Nick and the others were watching the stream?
I was there, but not for long. I was there for like before. I don't know. I don't know where exactly I drop off. I needed to sleep there. It was the day before. It was the day before a test, so I needed to.
Fair enough. What are you studying? Game development? Game dev stuff?
No. I'm studying construction engineering.
Ooh. My brother was going to look into civil engineering, but got hurt like about 10 years ago, and I see that person fell to their death, and we should laugh.
Wait,
at
what?
I saw like someone like hopping over, and I think they landed to their deaths.
Ew.
No, ow.
Enemy.
Ow.
Shit.
Uh-oh.
I knew that.
Uh-oh. And we're dead. At least I got a kill in. That's something.
I quite literally got out between a rock and a hard place.
Yeah, and unfortunately they both beat you into submission.
Yeah.
So that's it for you?
Well, at least. Yeah.
Alrighty.
It's starting to hurt.
Yeah, so I'll let you get some rest, and I'll see if I can rate someone.
Yeah.
Ooh, Cassie Mangilio, who voiced Senshi in the Netflix version of Evangelion. Let's give them a raid and a host. So,
Sure.
is that it for you? Just want to make sure.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
That's it for me.
Alrighty, so I'll be ending the stream pretty soon, so yeah.
See you.
Alright, see ya. Have a good day, everybody, and we hope we see you again, Chief.
I will.
Alright, see you later. Alright, bye. Have a good night. Have a good day, everybody.